Bible, there's a book called Ephesians 5:33, where God lays out gender-specific commands on how a man can get the best out of a woman and what does a woman need to do to get the best out of a man. Look at what it says to the men. Men, and you must love your wives as you love yourself. And wives, you must respect your husband. Two different verbs. Man, to get the best out of woman, love. But woman, if you want to get the best out of man, respect. Now, both men and women need love and respect. But respect to a man is water. Love is food. Both the woman needs love and respect, but love to a woman is water and respect is food. You see what I'm saying? So that mathematics has been corrupted. And because our women have been taught and trained, and this is the way it is. So in this world, in the social, political, economic system, the black man is the last hired and the first fired. But in the social system, the black woman is the last married and the first divorced.
I agree with everything he said. Most men, that's what they say. They say they would prefer respect over love.
Welcome to the pressure cooker.
Oh yeah, I think you know what I'm starting to I wonder. Well, I ain't gonna say I wonder. I kind of see it.
Mm-hmm. A shifting.
Well, the more women get into a masculine space, I think the more respect means more to them than love do. I think that's the trade-off when you want to be the boss bee. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think the trade-off is. It's just throw things out of whack. And like my man said, there's an order. There's a certain order, you know, that in a certain guidelines that make relationships and marriages go. And I think once we start stepping outside of those guidelines and trying to add our own rules and do our own thing, and then you want to come back and think once you get in a marriage and relationship, it's going to work out how it's supposed to work out. And all the unnecessary turmoil that you end up having, you know, you wonder where that comes from. And I think it comes from things being out of whack. Now we can as men, we can blame it all on the women. We can. That's the easy thing to do. That's what we do. But let's be honest. It's more men that's just as confusing as women and the way we behaving.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with something that you said before. Two, you must be equally in line. If you are spiritual and your partner isn't, if you're a believer and your partner isn't a believer, then that's going to be a little hard for them to follow the rules, as he said. If you read the Bible and you understand, and that's the way you want to lead your family, but yet you've chosen a woman who does not believe, or her beliefs is in something else and her practice is in something else, a higher power, but not necessarily God, that's where you're going to have the imbalance. You both first have to be aligned on one accord with what you're going to believe and how your house will be led and who you believe in, who is your higher power. When that is in line, then I think those women understand a little more. But I think the world we have gotten so jaded now that we are unequally yoked. You know, we don't believe in the same things. A lot of time you get involved with the beauty and the booty and you don't see the substance. You don't look to see what characters or what stability or what they were raised with, what morals and values do they stand on. Because if she believes something different than what you believe, how will that work? If she believes that you need to respect me more, then she don't care about you loving her. Yeah. And a lot of women say men have poison love. You know, I heard a woman say today that men poison love. So we don't know whether to believe when a man says he loves us, because he says he loves you, but his action shows something different.
Yeah, that's where the confusing part
Mm-hmm.
comes in there. And I'll be honest with you. And I think I made a video today about that. Um, men are more into building rosters
Mm-hmm.
than building themselves or
Mm-hmm.
getting the best out of themselves. They more into building rosters nowadays because of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think that, you know, you more than what you are because you can take and use the internet as a man to feed your ego.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of guys don't have no real game.
Well, I mean, men have always
What,
through
what,
the ages fed
wait,
their egos.
but that's how a lot of men don't have no game because a lot of the stuff you do on the internet you can't pull it off in real life. You sit up
That's
here
true.
with a roster, and you as a man, if you got any kind of goals, how you gonna get that accomplished if you got a roster full of women that you dealing with?
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing you doing is you just want to have access to them because 95 to 96% of them women you never gonna meet. You in 98 of them percent you never gonna sleep with.
Mm-hmm.
It's just collection of women, and guys think that that replaces their like thereof, and that's where the confusing part comes in, and that's a lot of time on the men's part. Now I'm not talking about the women right now, I'm just talking about on the men's part of how they can throw things off and how the foundation and the guidelines of relationship is, and that what confuses women. And when you go back to saying about love and how men have thrown love off and confused it, yeah, because I'm building a roster and I'll say any guy
Well,
anything.
that's what they call the boomerang effect. A
Yeah.
lot of men sleep around with women and treat women and disregard them as a sex tool. I want to see if I can hit it. I want to see. So there are men who actually do
But this
score.
this is the
There are men who score
Mhm.
and they will sleep with a lot of women. But when they hit that one woman that gives them a battle and gives them a chase and gives them time, they don't give up because she's a challenge.
Mhm.
But because they put so much effort into her, they
Mhm.
become trapped and fall for
Mhm.
her themselves. And
Mhm.
then it turns on them
Mhm.
because now you're paying back. It's called that karma thing. For
Mhm.
all the women that you abused and took for granted who would have loved you, this one woman that you just gotta have
Mhm.
sticks it to you.
Mhm.
And then they find themselves not wanting to love again, and then they're back out there like, oh, I'm gonna treat them all that way because that's what they deserve. No, 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 no. None of the ones in front of you that you treated that way deserved
Ben,
it.
I was just finna say that. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I was just finna say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one
Mm-hmm.
thing that I try my best not to be
Mm-hmm.
is a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
I I I I, I sit back and I think whenever something that I think is unfortunate to happen to me, I always reflect back on what did I deserve or did I treat somebody wrong for this to come back to me? Because I'm a big believer in karma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really big in karma, and I can spot a a hypocrite a mile away. But when I hear people going through relationship problems and they go, "Well, she doing this to me or he doing this to me," I be wondering how many people did you screw over?
Mm-hmm.
How many hearts did you break? How many people days that they was messed up because they thought you felt a certain way, but you ended up treating them a certain way, and you walked all over them like a doormat. But now it's your turn,
Mm-hmm.
and now you think the world has done you wrong. Oh, she did this. Oh, I knew, but bruh, or ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
look at what you left behind.
Mm-hmm. A broken-hearted man is far more dangerous than a scorned woman, even though they tell you a woman who's scorned is worse than hell. See, that hell is only directed at one man, only the man that hurt her. A man, when he gets a broken heart, it's directed at every woman that comes after, because one woman did him wrong. He will close off to all women and just start treating them all bad, just start sleeping with them, mistreating them. And there's more men, there's more women than men. So women will still find that man attractive. But in his mind, he is, no, I'm done with love. I'm done with heartbreak. Nobody will do this to me again.
Some dudes will,
Mhm.
and very few.
Most of them.
No, let me show you how it works. Yeah, if you start dating women and you
Mhm.
run across a bunch of women that's, you know, that just average women, a little bit above average or whatever you want to say, yes, he'll do that. But most men ain't got enough discipline to stay the course.
Mhm.
That's why you see dudes get heartbroken, then they get back in a relationship and get messed over again, sometimes by the same woman. A lot of dudes can say that, and yeah, if you a type of woman that he don't deem is worth going all out for, yeah, he'll play that game and he'll just pretty much neglect you, neglect your feelings, neglect how he treats you and all that. But if it's the woman that he really, really like, she come into he'll go back and do the same thing.
Well,
and a
that's,
lot of guys will.
yeah, that's understandable. That's not what I'm saying. When that woman hurts him, he still is going to abuse all these other women who saw love and favor in him.
I get it.
He's going to
Where
abuse those women
I get
because
what you're
he's
saying.
going to disregard them. So for his ego, for the bruising of his ego, he sets out to look and prey on those women. Now I'm going to make all those women pay for the woman who I wanted. See, you wanted her, you worked with her. Now I'm going to just go to ones who liked me, who I never thought was somebody I mess with. I'm going to mess with them now just because I can. Just because I know I can hit, I'm going to do it. But in the process, you're collecting a bunch of women broken hearts. You're damaging a lot of women that you should have left alone because you knew you didn't want them. You didn't want them before, but because you're hurt, you want to heal.
Yeah, so that's where I was about to go with that. Because I don't think, because you said set out to hurt them. I don't know if they always set out to hurt them. I think that they're setting out to use them as a stepping stool to try to mend a broken heart. Now, I don't think he go in there. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to her. I don't really think that's the case. But hey, there's some dude that, yeah, I will give you that. They be like, I'm gonna stick it to everyone.
A man knows where he's the king of the room. He knows the spot, the club, or whatever, because these women have already showed interest. And he know when he walk in what he can do, the damage he can do in that spot.
Kevin and Caprice. Let's talk relationship.